You're listening to the Casting for Fun podcast, the show that talks about entertainment, sports, music, and inspirational stories for all to enjoy. We're glad you could join us today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here is your host, Albert Pineda.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Casting for Fun podcast. I am your host, Albert Pineda, coming to you on Wednesday, July 9th. 2025. I hope everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July weekend, and we're back with another episode here on the Casting for Fun podcast. We're discussing Back to the Future Part 1 for its 40th anniversary, and joining me, obviously, is a good friend of the show, Nathan Wolfe, to discuss all the really great things concerning this movie, favorite scenes, what this movie means to us. If you're a longtime listener of the show, then you know that I've already touched on Back to the Future. In fact, I touched on it 2 years ago with my buddy Peter Hauge, but I decided I want to touch on it again. You know, I had so much fun with Nathan discussing Part 3 last month that I decided, or 2 months ago rather, back in May. I decided, you know what, I'd be doing it a disservice to not talk about Part 1 for its 40th anniversary. In fact, I mean, for its 42nd, 45th, 50th, 60th, if I'm still podcasting, then I'm definitely talking Back to the Future because, again, I absolutely love this movie. So sit back, relax, enjoy my conversation with Nathan Wolfe. We're discussing all things Back to the Future Part 1. And stay tuned for next week's episode where my 311 crew, good friends, Nick Turner, Marcelo Embrees, Derek, and Josh Dupre, we're all coming in to celebrate the 30th anniversary of 311's Blue Album. So that's going to be a really awesome conversation as well. And stay tuned also for my Beach Boys conversation with Jeff Haskins. That's still happening. I just haven't arranged a time yet, and hoping that possibly another guest will join us too. But stay tuned for that. Beach Boys with Jeff Haskins is going to be coming sometime this summer, just not this week like I initially had thought, and it hopefully will be coming soon. But in the meantime, yes, let's just dive into Back to the Future Part 1 with Nathan Wolfe here on the Casting for Fun podcast. Welcome back to the show, Nathan Wolfe. Nathan, it's always a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
It's always a pleasure to be on talking about movies, especially ones I really like. So,
oh, very cool. Tonight's going to be a very special episode. Yes, we're talking Back to the Future. Very excited to dive into this one with you. For longtime listeners of the show, you know that I've already covered the whole Back to the Future trilogy, and I mentioned to Nathan that I wanted to touch on 3. Because 3, we didn't really touch on a whole lot, and I think it doesn't get not enough love. But, you know, it's the 40th anniversary of Part 1. Like, we have to talk about Part 1. I think especially with you, because, again, how much you love this movie just as much as I do. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to have you on to celebrate Part 1.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I talked about in Part 3. So some things, maybe I might share a story that I was talked about in Part 3, but hopefully I had something new to this episode. So,
oh, very cool. So it'll be our regular routine. There's a few clips that I want to share from Part 1, but again, mostly just your thoughts, impressions, like how much you love this movie, interesting facts. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself too much. So a lot of the facts that I want to discuss, I've already mentioned on that previous episode, which would be episode 93 of the show, if anybody wanted to go back and re-listen to it. But so what I'm really interested in is hearing your take, Nathan, your take on this movie, your experiences watching it, things of that nature. So
awesome. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, to start out, I do want to show one audio clip. It's this is Quinten Tarantino, who was on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, and they were just discussing the concept of like perfect movies. And I think you might know where I'm going with this. So Quinten Tarantino gave his picks of 7 perfect movies that I thought was kind of timely to share right now, especially because I have Nathan on the podcast. So let's go ahead and dive into this clip, and then we're going to go specifically into the Back to the Future Part 1.
You said that there are very few perfect movies, and one of them is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What are the other perfect movies?
The perfect movie kind of crosses all aesthetics to one degree or another. Might not be your cup of tea, but there's nothing you can say to bring it down. I think Jaws fits into that. I think The Exorcist.
Take it! No! Stay away from me!
I think Annie Hall.
You know, you're always trying to get things to come out perfect in art because it's real difficult in life.
Young Frankenstein.
Well, why isn't it Frederick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein. You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
I could say The Wild Bunch fits into that.
No, I didn't.
Back to the Future is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, just an amazing coincidence that 2 of the 7 perfect movies, according to Quentin Tarantino, are movies that we love and that we've discussed here on the show or are currently discussing. Jaws and Back to the Future, right? And I'm assuming that you would share that sentiment, or I mean, if it's not perfect, it's near perfect.
Jaws and Back to the Future, I'd probably say are perfect movies. There was a couple other movies that I really like that he mentioned. Annie Hall, I love that movie. Young Frankenstein, I think, is a perfect comedy. I can't remember, just even though we just watched the clip. It's
Oh no, is that the 2 that he mentioned that I've never seen before, because I personally am not really big on horror, especially like the really scary like horror, like that would be The Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
That's right.
70. I haven't seen either one, so I couldn't say myself, but
yeah, I haven't seen Exorcist. I have seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but very good. But I don't know. That's one I don't know if I'd call it a perfect film. I do like horror movies, but yeah, that's one I don't know if I'd call it perfect, but Quentin Tarantino has a good list. Otherwise, so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's just one director's opinion. So, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I do like a lot of his interviews that he gives. I mean, I think he's got a lot of great insights into cinema, obviously being one of the most renowned directors today. So what's kind of cool just for him to say, hey, Jaws and Back to the Future are both perfect movies in his opinion. So, I mean, we touched on Jaws extensively a few months ago. So let's go ahead and dive into Back to the Future. So do you remember your first memories watching this specific movie?
I don't know if I remember my first time watching this movie. I'm pretty sure we either had a VHS copy. I mean, we had a VH copy either way, but either it was recorded off of TV or I'm pretty sure we owned the VHS of it. And yeah, it was just I just remember watching it over and over, and whenever it's on TV, my brothers and I would watch it. It's just it's a movie that everyone enjoys, or all 3 of my brothers enjoyed. So it was never of like no argument of anyone not wanting to watch it. So it was just, even if it was like 2/3 of the way through, we're flipping through the channels and it was on, you just stop and finish it wherever it's at. It's that good of a movie because I mean, just seeing it so many times, obviously your first viewing, I would watch it from the beginning, but once you've seen it 20, 30 times, it's just a movie you could just pick up wherever, if it's on TV. I guess that's not really a thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Cable, but yeah. So yeah, I don't remember the first time I watched it exactly, but I was, probably since I was like 3 years old. I'm 3 to 5, somewhere in there, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Nathan. I mean, I think you'll be very hard pressed to find anyone who really doesn't like this movie. I know some people have varying opinions on parts 2 and part 3, but again, part 1 would be the one that I think the general consensus among the movie going public is that if it's not perfect, it's near perfect. It's so well beloved. I mean, again, I don't want to repeat some of the stats or things I repeated before, but a few things that I didn't know from before the last time I recorded about Back to the Future was that it had been nominated for 4 Oscars Oscars, and it won one of the four, which is really cool. It won for best sound effects editing in the 1986 Academy Awards. It was nominated for original screenplay, which is so amazing. You can see why Tarantino would say, "Hey, this is a near perfect movie." When you look at how great the screenplay for this movie was, best sound, and also nominated for the best original song for "Power of Love" by Huey Lewis and the News. So again, this movie is just, I mean, there's not enough great things we could say about it, really.
So it wasn't nominated for score?
No, it wasn't, and I think it should have been. I mean, Alan Silvestri is just fantastic, his musical scores, and then again, a lot of the musical pieces, I think, from parts 2 and part 3 kind of repeat some of the things we heard in part 1. So if one of the movies should have been nominated, it should have been part 1.
Yeah, that you think of, if I tell you to name movies with iconic soundtracks or music, Back to the Future is definitely one that pops in there. I'm just kind of surprised. I'd have to go look to see what else was nominated that year for score, because I'm sure there's some a John Williams movie that came out that
possibly. Yeah, I think the color purple was
color,
one of the ones,
was that
or
was that 85?
I think so.
Okay,
so it's technically Spielberg, but yeah.
But
yeah,
no, that kind of surprised me that I wasn't nominated for score with how iconic the soundtrack is. But.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one other question that I wanted to bring up to you before we dive into the specific scenes of the movie. So I discussed this with my friend Peter when he was on the podcast 2 years ago, talking about this movie, where producer Bob Gale came up with the concept of Back to the Future by digging through his old father's old high school yearbook and looking at some of his accomplishments. Like, I guess he was heavily involved in the ASB, the Associated Student Body, student government, things of that nature. And Bob Gale, for lack of a better word, was a bit of a slacker, I guess, not really doing extracurricular stuff in high school. So he wondered if he'd even be friends of his dad if he knew him as a teenager. So that concept I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, we see obviously that Marty McFly gets to meet both of his parents when they were teenagers. So the question I present to a lot of people when I talk about this movie, and I'd like to present to you now, Nathan, is do you think you would have been friends with either of your parents if you had the chance to meet them when they were teenagers?
I was thinking about this since you texted me about it earlier, and I apologize. If I have neighbors lighting fireworks off. Hopefully, you don't hear them. But
no worries.
So I was thinking about with my dad. I think I would have been friends with him. He was kind of a deadhead, and let's see, he would have graduated in 1967-ish. So so I was just thinking about, like, well, how was I in high school? And I was the type of person, I was kind of good friends with everyone. I definitely had my kind of close net group of people that I hung out with, but like, I was fairly good friends with some of the jocks and some of the stoners, and like that. So I think I would have. I don't know if it would have been like in his group of friends. That's hard to say, but I think I would have been friends with him. And then I wasn't. I have no idea about my mom. I should talk to her and ask her like what she was like in high school, because I don't. I bring that. I'm like, I should probably. I don't even know what my mom did in high school. Like if she was. I think she did art classes, but that's about it. So you inspired me. Next time I talk to my mom, I'll have to ask her, what type of stuff she did in high school, and maybe next time I'm on the podcast, I can give an update about my mom. But
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll definitely remind you about that. So, I love thinking about that question because obviously it's very integral to the plot of the movie. In fact, there's the scene when Doc Brown's explaining to Marty, hey, I mean, they're your parents. You should know something about them, right?
To get those two to successfully mate as if they are alone together. So you've got to get your father and mother to interact in some sort of social...
Well, what, you mean like a date?
Right.
Well, what kind of date? I don't know. What do kids do in their 50s?
Well, they're your parents. You must know them. What are their common interests? What do they like to do together?
Nothing.
So I think a lot of us maybe kind of have the same sentiments you do, like thinking, do my parents like stuff? What do they like? I don't even know.
Yeah, you kind of take it for granted because they're always around, and it's like, Oh, I don't know if I've ever asked my mom or dad about X, or like what they thought about this back when they were not. They're just kind of your parents, and I just don't you don't think about that at the time until someone presents the question to you, and like, oh, that's a good point. Maybe I should ask and find out. It's not. I don't think it's anything that they wouldn't want to tell me, but it's just something that doesn't come up often. So.
Mhm. Oh, very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the movie now. So again, there's so many great scenes from this movie that I could pick out. I mean, because again, as we've mentioned many times with what Tarantino said, if this movie's not perfect, it's near perfect. But there were a few specific scenes that I chose that I wanted to get your take on and get your impressions on. So the very, I think the most I iconic and most recognizable scenes from the movie, but again, there's really no going wrong when you're picking any scene from this movie. So hopefully people enjoy the scenes that I picked, but again, if I didn't pick your favorite scene, I apologize in advance. But I want to start out with the big reveal of the DeLorean. So we get to see Doc and Marty at the Twin Pines Mall, which again is a very iconic location here in Southern California. It's just the La Puente Mall parking lot, which is still standing. So it's kind of cool. Like people still gather every year on October 21st to celebrate Back to the Future Day and hang out at the parking lot of the mall. But I want to show this first scene where we get to see the DeLorean for the first time, and Marty's seeing that Doc Brown has actually created a time machine. So let's go ahead and dive into this.
You made it! Yeah! Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
Well, it's a DeLorean, right?
Bear with me, Marty. All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Okay,
I will proceed.
Doc, is that a Devo?
Never mind that now. Never mind that now. Not now. Not now.
All right, I'm ready.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall. It's Saturday morning, October 26, 1985, 1:18 a.m. And this is temporal experiment number 1. Come on, Heidi. Hey, boy, get in there. Yeah, now, boy. In here you go. Sit down. Put your seatbelt on. That's it.
Whoa. Okay.
Please note that Einstein's clock is in precise synchronization with my control watch. Got it?
Right, check, done.
Good. Have a good trip, Einstein. Watch your head.
Get that thing hooked up to the car.
Watch this.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Got me, the car! My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some... The terminal displacement occurred exactly 1:20 a.m. in 0 seconds!
Ah, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Doc, you disintegrated Einstein.
Calm down, Marty. I didn't disintegrate anything. The molecular structure of both Einstein and the car are completely intact.
Where the hell are they?
The appropriate question is, when the hell are they? You see, Einstein has just become the world's first time traveler.
Yeah, that scene is so awesome. It's so cool to see the visual effects of like the fire. In fact, actually, so my older brother Fernando and I we actually recreated it ourselves. Like he was explaining to me, hey, he was showing me how they did it. Like we just sprayed hairspray on like tile floor or something like that, and then we actually lit it on fire to make that fire effect. How they do with the tires. It was just this cool, memorable scene for me as a kid watching that. And no matter how many times I see it, I think it's still just amazing.
Yeah, something that always makes me laugh since I was a kid. I don't know why, but just the seeing Einstein like in the driver's seat of a car, just like it always makes me smile. And one thing that I just noticed when you were showing the clip that I never thought about, he says if my calculations are correct, but like, why was he so adamant about them standing there if like he didn't even like fully know for sure that it was gonna work? I'm like, if it, it's like if it didn't, they would have just got smacked at 88 miles per hour. And I'm like, oh, I watched this movie so many times that I don't even, some scenes that you just don't even think about. And like, oh, he wasn't even positive that it was gonna, like, obviously he's a scientist and did his calculations, but I was just like, oh, they could have easily been killed. But it's really funny. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love this movie so many times because how watchable it is and rewatchable so that you can go back and catch things you didn't catch the first time. Like, the opening sequence, it kind of defeats the purpose to show it here on a podcast because it's a lot of visual stuff that we see in Doc Brown's laboratory. But
yeah,
we're hearing the news report and then we get to hear on the news that plutonium had been stolen. And sure enough, Doc Brown's the one who stole it. And then obviously that plays a part later in the very next scene that we won't dive into it here, or show it here. But the fact that it reveals to Marty that they have to create that nuclear reaction in order to get it to 88 miles per hour in order to get the flux capacitor to work. And then that way they can actually travel. And then, of course, the Libyans come after Doc for revenge. So again, those little things going back to the beginning of the movie and you rewatch it and you realize, oh, it was there the whole time. It makes it really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a really great setup and payoff and that kind of rewards you if you're paying attention because that opening scene, I bet maybe people are like, what is this? Just like he has like 30 clocks going, and like you said, like just now I just caught something I hadn't really thought about. But yeah, the more you watch it, the kind of more and like the more you pay attention, like the more paid off you'll be later on in the movie. And it's just really great kind of exposition without throwing it in your face. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So then we get the exciting scene where the Libyans, I mean, they shoot Doc. So, I mean, we see Doc get killed right there. Marty is able to escape, but then accidentally goes back to the year 1955 without backup plutonium. So now he's stuck there. And then we get the really iconic scene where he goes to the cafe and he meets his dad. So again, everything we just been talking about before about meeting your younger version of your parent and how one of your parents and how you would react and interact with them. Again, such a really interesting concept because our relationship with our parents is very important to all of us. So I want to go ahead and dive into that scene now. And again, we get to see young Biff, and we talked about Thomas F. Wilson before. Again, just how over the top and great he is as the villain of the whole trilogy, Biff Tannen, and then of course Crispin Glover. The only time he actually appears in the movie, as far as like actually credited.
Yeah.
The scene here with Marty and them meeting at the cafe. So let's go ahead and dive into this particular scene.
What's with the life preserver?
I just want to use the phone.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
Round. Great. You're alive. drive.
Do you know where 1640 Riverside...
Are you gonna order something, kid?
Yeah. Give me a tab.
Tab? I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
Right, give me a Pepsi free.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it.
Look, just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
Something without sugar.
Hey, McFly! What do you think you're doing?
Biff.
Hey, I'm talking to you, McFly, you Irish bug.
Oh, hey, Biff. Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Yeah, you got my homework finished, McFly?
Well, actually, I figured since it wasn't due till Monday...
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think, McFly, think. I gotta have time to recopy it. You realize what would happen if I hand in my homework in your handwriting? I'll get kicked out of school. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you?
Well, now, of course not, Biff. I wouldn't want that to happen.
So what are you looking at, butthead?
Hey, Biff, get hold of this guy's life preserver. Dork thinks he's gonna drown.
Yeah. So, how about my homework, McFly?
Okay, Biff. Well, I'll finish that on up tonight, and then I'll bring it over first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, not too early. I sleep in Sundays. Oh, McFly, your shoes untied. Don't be so gullible, McFly.
Okay.
I don't want to see you in here again.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
What? You're George McFly.
Yeah, who are you?
Say, what do you let those boys push you around like that for?
Well, they're bigger than me.
Stand tall, boy. Have some respect for yourself. Don't you know if you let people walk over you now, they'll be walking over you for the rest of your life. Look at me. You think I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in this slop house?
Watch it, Goldie.
No, sir. I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm going to night school, and one day I'm gonna be somebody.
That's right, he's gonna be mayor.
Yeah, I'm an mayor. Now that's a good idea. I could run for mayor.
A colored mayor, that'll be the day.
You wait and see, Mr. Carruthers. I will be mayor. I'll be the most powerful man in Hill Valley, and I'm gonna clean up this town.
Good. You can start by sweeping the floor.
Mayor Goldie Wilson. Like the sound of that.
Yeah, there's so much great stuff from that clip there that, I mean, some of it you can hear great, but some of it you can't, unfortunately, or you have to kind of see it. So I'll explain it to the listeners. When we're seeing Marty and George McFly sitting next to each other, they're just copying their mannerisms. They have the exact same thing where they brush their head on the side of their head, their hand on the side of their head, kind of brushing their hair. Their mannerisms, again, very similar. So you can tell that, like, yes, they're trying to portray them as father and son. And then, of course, meeting when they're at the same age. So again, it's very interesting that those traits and character things, like, I think people just kind of gather from their parents. In fact, me personally, I'm doing it right now. I use my hands a lot when I'm talking and explaining things, and I think I kind of got that from my dad. So okay. Yeah, it's very interesting to me to go back and watch those subtle aspects of the movie.
Yeah, the part in that cracks me up is just like we have that side view of Marty like staring in shock at George, and like it's focused on Marty, but you can still see George, obviously, because he's in front of him, and you just see George getting more and more uncomfortable as this guy's, he has no idea who he is, and this guy's just like staring at him like without even blinking, and he's like, and finally he's just like, what? Like it's just like so well done, and the whole scene is great. But yeah, going back to your point, there's just like, it's just funny. There's a lot of things that we pick up from our parents that we don't think about, or like habits, or like One thing about my dad, he was very particular at restaurants on what he would order, and he liked thing like like say a normal person goes to a restaurant, they're like, oh yeah, I'll have a cheeseburger with fries. He would like want something added, or like two things taken off, and then added something that wasn't on the like he'd just have very particular ways of ordering, and I kind of do that now because my thinking is like, well, if I'm paying for this and I'm going out to this restaurant, I want it to my want it to my liking. So yeah, it's just funny those things that we pick up from our parents, and yeah, especially the little mannerisms and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few more things that I wanted to bring up from this scene as well. So we see that we're getting a repeat of what had happened, I guess, in earlier in the movie back in 1985. So the older version of Biff and George are having that same conversation where Biff is being a jerk to George, telling him, "Hey, I need to copy your reports. I need you to do your work for me." And we find that in the past, back in the 50s, the same thing was happening where Biff was still bullying George back then, telling him, "Hey, I need you to do my homework for me," and like the same conversation over again. So it kind of like if we don't take good care, we could fall into the same like traps like that, like George does. And we're gonna explore that later on in the movie. So again, I thought that was very fascinating to see that sometimes history can repeat itself if we aren't careful and if we're just kind of repeating our same habits.
Yeah, you kind of gets, you know, George is kind of stuck in a rut since he was in high school and hasn't really changed much, unfortunately. Um, and I think it's a deleted scene. I don't know if you've seen it, where a guy and his daughter are like going door to door to sell peanut brittle.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
seen that?
Mm-hmm.
And they like push, or the guy kind of like talks George or pushes him into buying like a whole case of it. Like no person needs that much peanut brittle, but since George was such a pushover, he's able to sell like all that they needed to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And that it kind of explains why he pours the bowl of peanut brittle earlier in the movie, because like it's just kind of random. I'm like, oh, he just likes peanut brittle for some reason, but it's just really kind of funny. I kind of wish they would add that back in, because it's just kind of a payoff to a joke later type of thing. But um, yeah, yeah, this whole the very beginning and then this scene kind of set up perfectly of how George's character was and still is, and to kind of like show, man, this guy needs a lot of help, and hopefully he'll have some. He's the one that has more of a character arc than Marty, I would say, in the first movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how he kind of gains courage, or the ability to stand up for himself, and to kind of learn to say no to people. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then you had mentioned it while we were just kind of watching that clip now. It is kind of fun to see that Billy Zane plays the role of one of Biff's cronies. And whenever I see Billy Zane, I always think of his cameo in the movie Zoolander. It's just so funny to me that, hey, listen to your friend Billy. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Don't do this, Derek.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool dude. He's trying to help you out.
And then one more thing I also want to mention too. So it's kind of interesting to think that, I mean, did Marty put the idea into Mayor Goldie Wilson's mind that, hey, back in the 50s when you were a kid, you could someday be mayor of Hill Valley? I mean, again, in the original version of 1985 Hill Valley, he was the mayor. So technically he got to be mayor before actually meeting Marty McFly from from 1985. So, but I always wonder if that was kind of put in to see that Marty had inadvertently caused that to happen.
I wonder, I mean, I always took it as that he was always going to be mayor, but maybe Marty, kind of gave him the idea, or, earlier in his life than maybe originally planned. I'm not sure,
Oh yeah,
That's
there's
interesting.
so many fan theories when it comes to this movie, and then please feel free to share any that you have as well. But there's a few more we'll get to as we go forward with the podcast here. But I do want to jump ahead to the scene where Marty meets the 1955 version of Doc Brown, which is really funny, and we talked about it before in our part conversation about part three, but I want to bring it up again because it's such a really memorable, funny line of the movie. So let's go ahead and jump into this scene.
Doc? Don't say a word. Doc, I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know anything about you.
Listen, Doc.
Doc. Don't
Doc,
tell me anything.
Doc,
Quiet. Quiet. I'm going to read your thoughts. Let's see now. You come here from a great distance?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, don't tell me. You want me to buy a subscription to the Saturday Evening Post?
No.
Not a word, not a word, not a word now. Quiet. Donations. You want me to make a donation to the Coast Guard Youth Auxiliary?
Doc. I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that you invented. Now I need your help to get back to the year 1985.
Do you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work at all.
Doc, you gotta help me. You were the only one who knows how your time machine works.
Time machine? I haven't invented any time machine.
Okay, all right, I'll prove it to you. Look at my driver's license. Expires 1987. Look at my birthday, for crying out loud. I haven't even been born yet. And look at this picture. It's my brother, my sister, and me. Look at her sweatshirt, Doc. Class of 1984.
Pretty mediocre photographic fakery. They cut off your brother's hair.
I'm telling the truth, Doc. You gotta believe me.
Then tell me, future boy, who's president of the United States in 1985?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? The actor? Then who's vice president? Jerry Lewis? I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady.
Whoa, wait, Doc!
And Jack Benny is secretary of the Treasury.
Doc, you gotta listen to me.
I got enough practical jokes for one evening. Good night, future boy.
No, wait, Doc. Doc, the bruise in your head. I know how that happened. You told me the whole story. You were standing on your toilet, and you were hanging a clock, and you fell, and you hit your head on the sink. And that's when you came up with the idea for the flux capacitor, which is what makes time travel possible.
Yeah, we talked about it before, the Ronald Reagan joke, which again, reportedly Ronald Reagan thought it was hilarious when he got to screen a copy of the movie back when he was president of the United States. But yeah, it is a really clever, funny line. And then just see Christopher Lloyd give his iconic performance as Doc Brown, is over the top, silly, like really hamming it up, really having a blast playing the role. You can tell he's loving it.
Yeah. Thing about Christopher Lloyd that cracks me up is just his facial expressions. Like, he's so animated, and when he goes wide-eyed and and everything, he just he gives the funniest looks, and he's that whole scene is just it's just perfect. It's so well done by both actors, and just the comedic timing is just perfect. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I want to share another scene that kind of goes into like why this movie was so revered for its screenplay. So to get into the plot, like the scene where Marty's explaining, or they're explaining the dilemma that Marty's facing, that they have to somehow find a way to power the DeLorean to get to 88 miles per hour in order to give the kick jump that plutonium would give, but also at the same time having to fix the problem where he inadvertently interfered with his parents meeting each other and falling in love, which again we learned that it was kind of like a not so great way. The fact that in the original version of 1955, George McFly was peeping on on Lorraine. That part was still true, but that he actually got hit by his Lorraine's dad, and that's why she just kind of took pity on him. So again, we see that their marriage in the original 1985 wasn't very good because it was just based off of like George not really being that good of a person, or at least like kind of a pushover, like you've already discussed. So, and the fact that Marty would accidentally ruin all that by showing up is very hilarious and funny.
Real quick, so was it Lorraine that he was peeping on? I don't think I ever realized that. Is that?
Yeah, it is. It is Lorraine Baines.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I've seen this movie so many times. I thought it was just like some other random woman that Oh man, that's crazy. Oh,
okay, I could be mistaken too. The way I always thought that it was Lorraine. I could have.
No, that makes sense because I'm like, did it just so happen that woman was in like close by to Lorraine's house? That because her dad yells at his wife, come out! Another one of those kids jumped in front of my car, and I just don't think I ever thought about that. Oh man,
I do remember it now. So like at the dinner table back in 1985, the original timeline, they're having a conversation, and Marty's sister was asking about it. Hey, I mean, Grandpa hit him with the car.
Yeah.
Lorraine says, "Oh, what were you doing, George? Bird watching?" And he just responds like, "What, honey? What?"
What, Lorraine? Yeah.
Well, it'll just happen, like the way I met your father. That was so stupid. Grandpa hit him with the car. It was meant to be. Anyway, if Grandpa hadn't hit him, then none of you would have been born.
Yeah, well, still don't understand what Dad was doing in the middle of the street.
What was it, George? Bird watching?
What, Lorraine? What?
Anyway.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I just thought it was some other neighbor, or some random woman. But oh man, all right, that's cool.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into this scene now, where again it explains the main plot of the movie, where they somehow have to fix the relationship of Lorraine and George and find the power source necessary to jumpstart the DeLorean. So here we go.
Doc.
No. This sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
What did I just say?
The flux capacitor stores. This sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott!
What the hell is a gigawatt?
How could I have been so careless? 1.21 gigawatts? Tom, how am I going to generate that kind of power? It can't be done, can it?
Doc, look. All we need is a little plutonium.
Oh, I'm sure that in 1985, plutonium is available in every corner drugstore, but in 1955, it's a little hard to come by. Marty, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you're stuck here.
Whoa, Doc, stuck here? I can't be stuck here. I got a life in 1985. I got a girl.
Is she pretty?
Doc, she's beautiful. She's crazy about me. Look at this. Look what you wrote here, Doc. I mean, that says it all. Doc, you're my only hope.
Marty, I'm sorry, but the only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
What did you say?
A bolt of lightning. Unfortunately, you never know when or where it's ever going to strike.
We do now.
This is it. This is the answer. It says here that a bolt of lightning is going to strike the clock tower at precisely 10:04 p.m. next Saturday night. If we could somehow harness this lightning, channel it into the flux capacitor, it just might work. Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
Okay, all right. Saturday's good. I can spend a week in 1955. I can hang out. You can show me around.
Marty, that is completely out of the question. You must not leave this house. You must not see anybody or talk to anybody. Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Marty, have you interacted with anybody else today besides me?
Yeah, well, I might have sort of bumped into my parents.
Great Scott! Let me see that photograph again of your brother. Just as I thought. This proves my theory. Look at your brother.
His head's gone. It's like it's been erased.
Erased from existence.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it too much as a kid, but I mean, the writing is so brilliant in this movie. Again, just that they would, have those callbacks to the beginning. That the lady was giving him the flyer, like save the clock tower, and then Jennifer, his girlfriend, used that same flyer to write the number for her grandparents, who she's going to be staying at, so Marty could call her. And of course, he kept it, and it was obviously meaningful to him because it was her number. But at the same time, this is a flyer to show exactly where lightning's going to strike, so you know what to do to find the lightning bolt. But at the same time, realizing, hey, we have to fix this dilemma because I inadvertently stopped my parents from meeting and falling in love. So again, all these things combined together just make this a so compelling, so interesting screenplay. That again, for me as a kid, I think I like to watch the action sequences. But again, when you look at these subtle things that the movie is presenting, it's actually really, really interesting and fascinating.
Yeah, it's just perfectly set up. Like that, and like naturally set up is the other thing. It's not like kind of like shoved in our faces. Like the lady hands him a flyer about saving the clock tower, and then she's like, "Oh, let me give you the number," and that's just they had that paper with them at that moment because they just got it. It's just like that kind of stuff is just like, oh yeah, like that would happen naturally, and it's like, oh yeah, I need something to write the phone number on. Oh, let's just use the back of the flyer, and then, like you said, he's still wearing all his clothes from the previous day, so he just had in his pocket, and yeah, it's just really cool unfolding, and uh, yeah, probably in like a good way to explain to us the viewer, or just kind of like, oh, that's how like that's how I came up with the idea. It's just very smoothly and naturally. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, so then we have to go through the various scenes that, for the interest of time, I'll skip over because we have to go through the various scenes where Marty has to convince his dad to actually muster up the courage to ask out Lorraine. It's a really humorous, funny scene. I'd like to put it in, but I kind of want to move forward a little bit where he just convinces himself that George, that he's Darth Vader from a distant planet, and he calls it, yeah. And then uses a Van Halen mixtape that he had to, hey, you have to ask out Lorraine, or almost from to melt your brains.
Yeah.
So they devised a plan to get Marty to go ahead. I'm sorry, to get George to muster up the courage to stand up to Marty, because Marty was going to pretend to force himself on Lorraine. But then we get the very, I guess, like, very disturbing scene. That's a good way of putting it, where Biff is just going to want to interfere and try and force himself on Lorraine too. So I want to go ahead and dive into this scene because again, it's hard to watch, but at the same time, it's very iconic that we see George finally step up and knock out Biff, which I'm sure everybody was probably cheering when they got to see that particular scene.
Hey, you, get your damn hands off.
Oh, I think you got the wrong car, McFly.
George, help me, please.
Just turn around, McFly, and walk away. Are you deaf, McFly? Close the door and beat it.
No, Biff. You leave her alone.
All right, McFly. You're asking for it, and now you're gonna get it.
Biff, stop it! Biff, you'll break his arm! Biff, you're gonna break his arm! Biff! Biff, leave him alone! Let him go! Let him go!
Are you okay?
Yeah, I always love that scene. I mean, it's cool that we get to see George step up to the plate and actually knock out Biff. I mean, he's finally had enough, and obviously he does care for Lorraine, so he wants to stand up for her. So again, it's a really cool scene, and Marty was able to get out of the trunk just in time because the Gronies had locked him in. But he got to see it firsthand, and then tell Doc before, "Hey, it's amazing because my dad's never stood up to Biff ever in his life." So again, it's a really cool scene.
Yeah, I mean, it is like kind of rough to watch, but it kind of raises the stakes, and it you know, George is a good guy, and we all we all think like, oh yeah, if someone was in trouble, we would help them out. And it's just a really well done scene, Biff is like twisting his arm, like as he's bending his arm behind his back, and then he starts laughing at Lorraine after he pushes her down, and then you just like it kind of the music swells and builds up, and then Biff turns and just it gets socked right in the face, and it's just like a good cheering moment, you know what I mean? Like it's just like Biff is not, I mean, he's a great villain, but he's not a likable character,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice to see him get what he deserves. So
absolutely, yeah. Okay, so the next thing I want to dive into is, again, it's probably my favorite scene from the entire movie, and one of my all-time favorite scenes ever is when Marty's performing with the band, performing Johnny Be Good, and inadvertently creating rock and roll in the process. So let's go ahead and dive into that scene.
Come on, man. Let's do something that really cooks. Something that cooks. All
right. This is an oldie, but well, it's an oldie where I come from. All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay? Guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, so I think this one was a scene that was put in to kind of just be a little Easter egg or just kind of like a fun little nod to show that Marty was, in fact, inadvertently responsible for inspiring Chuck Berry to kind of come up with that musical style, like his cousin, who just happens to be Marvin Berry right there. Saying, hey, you know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
No, it's just way good and way well acted, and the part that just cracks me up is Marty just gets, caught up in the moment and just starts going crazier and crazier that, people from 1955 have not seen. And then just when they're all staring and like blankly at him, they're like, what is wrong? What is wrong with this guy? It's just great comedic, timing. And, in Marty's head, he thinks he's being awesome and, kind of living out all his like rock and roll fantasies of playing on stage, but not realizing that it's not going over well with the crowd, once he kind of takes it too far. So.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of my all-time favorite scenes in any movie. So yeah, it's a scene that I can go back and just rewatch all the time and just quote. So yeah, it's definitely a highlight for the entire movie. But then we get to the climax, which is really exciting and cool. It borrows a lot of, I guess technically part 3 borrows elements from this one. But we talked about it when we did our conversation about part 3, that it's similar, but it's also different too. The fact that they're having setback after setback. The DeLorean stalls. Doc Brown's cable comes unplugged. Marty's trying to convince Doc, hey, I have to warn you about what happens in the future, and Doc doesn't want anything to do with it. And again, we get all that on top of the exciting film score from Alan Silvestri, which makes for a really awesome climax to see just can they pull it off just in time. Of course, it's a movie. Of course, they're going to do it. But again, it's still thrilling to see that scene play out on the screen.
Yeah, it's still nail biting. Like, I think every time I watch it, it's like I said, it's gonna work out, and it's you've seen so many times that what's gonna happen, but it's still like so last minute, that it finally all gets together. He gets, the tree fell on the cord and unplugged it. He gets it off that. Then he gets. He drops it when he's up on the clock tower and, gets caught on his leg. It's just like, you're just like, oh my gosh, will they just get, it kind of drives you mad as a viewer just because you're like, I just want this to work so they can, Marty can get home and everything. And it's just really well done. And you're just very happy that it all works out at the end. You're cheering along with Doc, because he's like thrilled that everything worked out. It's really great.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, so again, it's a feel good moment of the movie. One of the feel good moments. There are so many in this particular movie, and then Marty's able to make it successfully back to 1985, and then of course Doc ended up reading the letter that Marty had left for him after all. So he was prepared, had a bulletproof vest, was ready for the Libyans when they came to attack him. So again, it's really cool that we see that the new version of 1985 is much better. The fact that George was able to stand up to Biff changed the trajectory of his entire life, that he actually had the courage to be a successful writer, because we also had that scene where he tells Marty, oh, I write stories, but I'm not going to submit it to anybody. I can't take that kind of rejection.
What are you writing? Stories. Science fiction stories about visitors coming down to Earth from other planets. Get out of town. I didn't know you did anything creative. Let me read something. Oh, no. I never let anybody read my stories. Why not? Well, what if they didn't like them? What if they told me I was no good? I guess that would be pretty hard for somebody to understand. No, not hard at all.
And that plays back to the beginning of the movie too, where Marty didn't want to submit his demo tape to a record producer, even though Jennifer was encouraging him to do so for the same reasons, because of, like, I guess the influence of his dad. Like, say, oh, I can't take rejection. I'm not going to deal with it.
Too loud. I can't believe it. I'm never gonna get a chance to play in front of anybody.
Marty, one rejection isn't the end of the world.
Nah, I just don't think I'm cut out for music.
But you're good, Marty. You're really good. And this audition tape of yours is great. You've got to send it into the record company. It's like Doc's
Yeah,
always
I
saying.
know. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
That's good advice, Marty.
All right, okay, Jennifer. What if I send in the tape and they don't like it? I mean, what if they say I'm no good? What if they say, get out of here, kid? You got no future. I mean, I just don't think I can take that kind of rejection. Jesus, I'm starting to sound like my old man.
It is cool that we see that. Well, first we can learn a subtle lesson that we are impressionable to our children, so we have to be careful as parents. But at the same time, we learn that if you can break the cycle and actually have the courage to take an initiative in your life, you could be blessed with something great, as was the McFly family was blessed with in the new version of 1985.
Yeah, I mean, Marty and his dad are definitely different, but, you know, there are, like you kind of mentioned, there are things that, you know, your parents may do that you may pick up on, and it becomes a habit or instilled on you of, you know, a way of thinking. And, yeah, it's just, you just kind of got to be, you know, kind of got to be easy on yourself so that your kids, you know, can see that, whether it's, you know, just kind of giving yourself grace, or, you know, being allowed to make mistakes, and that's okay, and things like that. So, but, yeah, the ending's, it's really great. I know, some people give it flack because it's like, oh, if you know, since he's, like, Marty's life is better because they're more wealthy, but I don't even see that. I think they're, you know, it's just like his life is better because his parents are kind of more in love for a good reason. You know, like, not that, you know, not because she felt sorry for him, that, you know, her dad hit him with a car and he was, you know, it's like, that's not a good reason to fall in love with someone, you know, like, they're there and you felt bad for them, but it's because someone, you know, kind of stands up for you and shows that they love and care for you by, you know, taking out Biff and things like that. It's just, they fell in love for a better reason than prior.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, Nathan, because I remember reading online that reportedly Crispin Glover actually took issue with that. He was among those that were saying that he didn't like the idea of, like, the McFly family being better off financially. He almost kind of seemed like he thought that they were being rewarded for an unjust reason. And I guess he clashed with Robert Zemeckis, the director, about it. But I think I agree with you. I agree with your sentiments that it was more of, like, the greater initiative that George McFly was willing to take because of his willingness to stand up for what was right and to be more ambitious in life, and not just kind of, like, you know, sit at a dinner table eating peanut brittle, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see that. I mean, it doesn't guarantee you're going to have success in life, but I think if you are ambitious, you're definitely going to be living a better life than just kind of being a slug, just kind of laying around, not really lacking ambition, really. So
yeah, it gave him more drive in life, and, you know, sometimes that can pay off, and some, you know, at the very least, he became a better person because of it. Whether him being successful financially, you know, is irrelevant. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. So then we get to the very final scene of the movie, which again is a very memorable scene, very cool scene here. So it's when Doc comes in after Marty and Jennifer are reunited, and we see that Marty finally has his big black truck that he always wanted. It's waiting for him in the garage, but then Doc interrupts them when they have their reunion. So let's go ahead and dive into that.
How about a ride, mister?
Jennifer. Oh, you a sight for sore eyes. Let me look at you.
Marty, you're acting like you haven't seen me in a week.
I haven't.
You okay? Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah. Everything is great.
Marty! You've got to come back with me!
Where?
Back to the future!
Wait a minute. What are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
No, Doc. I just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're gonna take the new truck for a spin.
Well, bring her along. This concerns her, too.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, we become assholes or something?
No, Marty. Both you and Jennifer turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something has got to be done about your kids.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, this scene is so cool. Like, I mean, if you're seeing this for the first time and you see the DeLorean rise up off the ground, start hovering, and then fly up like an airplane, it's so amazing and cool. And to hear that iconic line from Doc Brown to say, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads." Again, this ending scene for the movie is just capping off what is already a perfect movie, really.
Yeah, it's just really great, and just like a, it ends with the music and the DeLorean kind of, flying head into the camera. It's just it's just like another cheering moment because it's just like wraps up so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just another. There's so many like cheering moments. I mean, great moments in this movie, as you talked about. And the ending just is wrapped up perfectly. It's really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then actually, what my understanding was as well is that technically they hadn't planned for parts 2 and part 3 at the time. When I think it was finished, it was left to be just kind of like ambiguous that this is going to be a one-shot movie. But because of the financial success, I mean, it was the highest grossing movie of 1985. That I think it did 388 million. And then if I look at my notes, that would like equivalent to about over $1 billion in today's dollars for inflation. So this movie was definitely a huge financial success for Universal, and the gamble paid off because again, I discussed it more in my previous episode from a few years ago that a lot of movie studios didn't even want to touch this movie, but sure enough, because of the success of Robert Zemeckis' previous movie Romancing the Stone, Universal took the chance on them, and what we got was, as Quentin Tarantino put it, a perfect movie. So
yeah, and I always forget that there's a 4-year gap in between part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Robert Zemeckis did Who Framed Roger Rabbit in between, if I'm not mistaken. So another great movie, and a great movie with Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's man, he was just kind of on a roll there for good solid 10 years, because Forrest Gump was after part 3, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's so much money for 1985. That's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I do want to end with just one quick random fact that I also discovered through my research, and it's technically not related to part 1. It's related to part 2, but you brought it up, so I wanted to mention it. So Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in 88, the year before part 2. And then part 2 comes out, and then we have the actor, or there's a gentleman, like older gentleman with like prosthetic makeup, who tells Marty about the Cubs winning the World Series in 2015 in their version of it, 2015. That actor is the guy who does the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't have his notes. I have to look it up really fast. In fact, actually, let me do that really quick. So before we wrap up here, but I was so fascinated to learn that. I was like, oh, cool. And then actually, you can even see a Roger Rabbit stuffed animal in the store where Marty buys the almanac in part 2.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Okay, let me look it up really fast here. Bear with me, everybody.
And they have Jaws and the Nintendo in the window as well. Gosh, what is his name?
Charles Fletcher.
Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah. So he's the actor who plays the character who gives Marty the idea about betting on the Cubs to win the World Series. And
okay.
It was a Roger Rabbit. So I guess he worked closely with Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, he threw him a bone and gave him a small part in part 2 of Back to the Future.
Oh, that's crazy. I always thought it was either an old guy or I didn't pay attention to him, but yeah, I wish I put some money on the Cubbies. But...
Yeah. Yeah, so we talked about it when we discussed part 3. I mean, all 3 of these movies are fantastic. I never get tired of watching them. Part 2 holds a special place in my heart because of the theater going experience back in 1989 for me. But I'm willing to admit that on an actual like theatrical level, part 1 is for sure like the perfect movie, the best. Even though on a personal level, I think I enjoy part 2 the most. But maybe I'll talk myself out of it. Maybe I'll change my mind and say part 1's the best. In reality, it actually is the best. So.
Well, there's a better movie or there's your personal favorite. I think that can be 2 separate things. So
okay, part 1's the better movie, but on a personal level, part 2 is my favorite. So maybe that way. But very cool. Yeah, I never get tired of talking about these movies. I mean, and probably in another 10 years for the 50th anniversary, if I'm still podcasting, I'll talk about it again.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Even if someone randomly says, "Hey, I want to be on a Back to the Future episode," I might just say, "Okay, cool, let's do it." Let me hear your thoughts on it. Because again, I love this movie so much. I never get tired of talking about it.
Yeah. There's one final thing. My favorite part of the movie, we didn't talk about it, but I mean, like you said, there's so many great parts. But I love at the dance after George, knocks out Biff. And like that redhead guy, kind of like push, kind of steals Lane away for her like a little bit. And then when George like pushes him and then they kiss and like the music builds up and Marty kind of like comes back to life because he's almost dead or getting erased, like his hands getting translucent. Mm-hmm. That scene just gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. And it's just perfect. Like, there's just so many good things about this movie, but I just wanted to bring up that scene because it's just so good. I get goosebumps every time I watch it. It's just really, with the music and everything, it's just perfect. So.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely insert it here so people can hear it. But yeah, I definitely love that scene as well. It's a really awesome, great scene set to the music of Earth Angel by the Penguins, if I'm not mistaken, the artist.
This is for all you lovers out there.
Earth angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love you.
George, aren't you gonna kiss me?
I don't know.
Scram, McFly. I'm cutting in.
Boy, you all right?
I can't play.
It is Earth Angel. I'm not sure. I can't remember who sings it, but
So many people have covered it over the years. So
also a random coincidence. I'm rewatching Stranger Things right now, and I'm on season 3, and I'm on the episode where have you seen Stranger? You've seen Stranger
oh yeah,
Things,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Little spoiler alert if people haven't watched it, but where Steve and Robin are kind of like still on the influence of the drugs that, like the kind of truth drugs that they were given.
Yeah.
And they are watching Back to the Future in the theater.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it was just funny. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that. It was funny the timing with being on the podcast and I'm on that episode. So
yeah, the summer of 1985 would have been massive for people. I mean, we talk about last summer, 84 being an amazing summer, and technically, I think 84 probably was the better of the two, but 85 was a really great year too.
Yeah. So. No, 84. You got Ghostbusters in that one.
There you go.
It's hard to decide, but yeah.
Oh, very cool. Anything else? Are we good to wrap up?
I think I'm good. I just appreciate you having me on again, and you make it easy when you ask me to be on, excellent movie episodes. So.
Okay, and then speaking of that, in the next couple of weeks or so, we'll arrange a time. But I definitely want to touch on Gremlins 2 with you. I think that's a movie people shouldn't sleep on. It celebrated its 35th anniversary. That's one I really want to discuss with you too. I think it's going to be a really fun conversation.
Yeah. When was the last? Or have you watched it recently, Albert? Or
I'm planning to. I saw it many years ago, but now I'm going to purchase it so I can actually watch it for myself. I checked, and no streaming service has it right now. So I think I'm going to buy the digital copy. So.
Cool. I watch it probably once a year or so.
Oh, okay, very cool. Okay, well, Nathan, thank you so much. This is always a blast to have you on, and thank you to my listeners. And again, I never get tired of talking Back to the Future. So if anybody wants to do an episode even talking about the same things Nathan and I just talked about, I can do it again. And I hope the listeners find it interesting and fun as well. So thank you, everybody. Okay, have a good night. We'll see you next time on the show.